Hello, Decatur. Thank you for joining us again this Friday afternoon, or maybe you're watching this at a later date. But we're just glad that you've taken the time to visit with us today. You know, last year certainly brought the unexpected, including the postponing of the 50th year anniversary celebration of the Point Mallard Water Park. Goodness, I remember when the water park opened, and seems like I'm just getting older as the days go by. But as the numbers continue, that is, the COVID numbers continue to trend in our favor, our Parks and Recreation team has been making preparations to safely open Point Mallard Park this summer. So with that, Jason Lake has been with the city of Decatur for over 23 years, with the last 21, and really with Point Mallard as the manager there over all of the operations of Point Mallard. Of course, it's far more than just aquatic center.
Yes.
We got a golf course, campground. We've had an ice complex, and then the aquatic center. What have I left out?
The strike zone is part of Point Mallard, and Jimmy John's and TC Alman are out there as well. They're not part of the Point Mallard, but they are at that location.
Okay. I used to, whenever I would go in, I've kind of learned that as I'm going into the park toward the aquatic center, everything that's on the left
That's what I tell people.
Is Parks and Rec, and everything on the right is Point Mallard.
Right.
Yeah. So you go from doing that to coming in and serving as assistant director to Parks and Recreation, and then our friend and longtime faithful employee Jeff Dunlap decides to retire, and today you're serving as our director. So Jason, thank you for joining us.
Thank you,
sir. All's well?
We're doing good. The weather today is, you just couldn't ask for more beautiful weather, and seeing kids on the ball fields today, and when you have that weather and people are out and having a good time and using these facilities, that's what they're there for.
Sure.
You know.
That's what y'all enjoy seeing.
Oh yeah, it's it's kind of like baking a cake that nobody eats if they're not, and so seeing people on the trails and seeing people hitting a golf ball, or seeing especially kids on a ball field, there's just a noise that comes with that that's just great.
Yeah. That's good to hear from parents that are telling me, hey, we've got softball this weekend, or
Right.
baseball. They're spending time, or soccer.
Right. Right.
And I know that all that is good. Well, I went to the park and I carried our new business development leader, Tom Hill. Tim Kent.
Tim
I carried
Kent.
Tim Kent
Right.
to the park because I said something about Point Mallard. He said, "What's that?" And I thought, man, we got to go for a ride.
Right.
And so we went over there. I can't believe I said Tom and it was Tim. Went over there, and the construction that's taking place right now it's what you normally see in the park, and all the guests that are there having fun during the summer, and now seeing it in the shape that it's in, and knowing that will go away and be back to pristine conditions. A lot taking place.
There's tons. When I was doing it, I always thought we have everything under control, and this is just, and I never understood what anybody worried about until I took this job, and then when I'm not the one that's actually on site doing it, and so now Miss McLean, who's doing just a great job out there, she's looking at me like I used to kind of look at Jeff, I guess, a little bit, and has, but they're doing. I mean, you saw the work on the slides, the carpet that's going down, the work that they did on the Point Mallard sign last year.
That's at the wave pool.
At the wave pool,
Yeah.
it just looked great, and it's the same thing. It's kind of the same conversation. Is baking that cake, and nobody. We just hated that because people use that park, and it's so ingrained in our city. There's so many people that have worked at that park and have met their future wives at that park, and it's just so intertwined with who we are as a city, and it has been for long enough that when it didn't open, it just didn't feel right. But we knew it was necessary.
Sure. Yeah.
So,
Tough year.
right.
2020. We have teammates, staff works for the city today, here, City Hall or in other departments that started with the city as teenagers
Right.
at Point Mallard doing summer work.
They did. Right. And I never come here without seeing different folks that were at Point Mallard. They were lifeguards. You know, he'll get embarrassed me bringing him up. I'm gonna bring him up anyway. Josh Heflin, you know, he one of our police officers. He won an award one time for doing CPR on a lady, and she lived, and you know, he was one of our longtime lifeguards. You know, and he showed those abilities over and over again in that job, and to see him and his career and now his family, you know, start coming up, it's just a really neat thing.
Good. Well, I know y'all have put a lot of work into getting the park ready. It's one of our jewels that we enjoy showing off. Jason, remind me. I'm probably going to go back and do another Tim Kantz thing here. Is it the 5th largest attraction in the state?
It is.
Okay, good.
You hit it hard.
Right.
We've been as high as 3. Five is the way they go about it is how many people visit, and of course last year was an off year, so you have a hard time. But
Sure.
we've been in that 3 to 5 range, and we've been one of the top 10 water parks in the country. And very proud of that, and really, people that know me are tired of hearing this. I know they are, but really, what it does is it's a reflection on the youth in our community. And the reason I say that is I would love to say I take credit or whatever, but you know, at the end of the day, you're really working about 450 kids with about 10 or 12 full-time employees, along with some older temporary employees that we always enjoy having. A lot of them are teachers and those kind of occupations that don't have to work in the summer. But those 450 kids for the last 50 years have ran that park. Because there's just anybody that thinks they can get out there and do everything, it's the kids. And to know that, you know, I hear sometimes people say, well, kids are different today, or kids are, well, you know, I'll agree. They are a little different today, but I don't think they're any worse. I think kids are kids, and when they're given a good thing to do and a direction and an opportunity to succeed, I think they do that. And I've been very proud of those kids.
My mind may have thought a little different growing up had I had a computer or something to play with. It probably changed the way. Well, I missed a good opportunity a while ago, but you just talked about it. The number of teenagers that you have at the park, and with that, there's a hiring that takes place.
Yes, sir.
And so we have an opportunity right now.
Yes, sir. We hire about 450 kids a year. We've been a little over that, and we've been a little under that. But that's an average number. We are currently taking applications. You can get that application at pointmallardpark.com and turn that into the ice complex or Fort Decatur, or you can go and download. You can download that PDF from pointmallardpark.com, or you can go to Fort Decatur or the ice complex and pick up an application there. If you have trouble filling it out, sometimes we're the first time a kid fills an application out. We have people there that can help you with that. Any questions that mom or dad may have, you know, with what those jobs are and what they would be doing, we have people there that can answer those questions. And you know, right now we're in full hiring mode and full training mode, and there's a lifeguard class every weekend. There's you know, we're training concession workers, we're training maintenance folks, office staff. We have plenty of things. We want you to do what you're interested in doing, and maybe what you're interested in doing at Point Mallard helps you, just like with Josh, down the road a little bit.
Sure. Good, good. Well, let me talk a little bit about, let's talk about what you do. What's it like being the director of Parks and Recreation here in the city?
I've been blessed. It's the number one thing that came, because I had so many people when I first started, just well wishers, and it's very humbling. And you know, and I thought some of that might, you know, dissipate a little bit. It really hadn't. Is when you get to work with, there are very talented people that work for the city and work with the city. You know, with the CVB or with the DDRA.
So hold on. So Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Right. Right.
Decatur.
Now I'm doing. You're right. You're right. Right.
Decatur Downtown Redevelopment
Right.
Association. Okay.
So yeah, and those are people that we're able to work with as partners, and we're able to help them, and they help us, and we're able to do things that you know, can make the city better. And to be in an opportunity to work with those people, work with you, you know, just all the folks, because the conversations are great. It's how do we make the city better, and that's what it should always be about.
Sure.
And I've just enjoyed it.
Good, good. We've seen very positive changes, and we're thankful that you're doing what you're doing. Now, we got to a point, golly, about 2 months ago. Time's sliding by. We're going to be getting the Christmas tree down. We know it. We needed to make a decision on whether or not we were going to open the park, because there were a lot of things that were going to need to happen for the staff to be able to make sure that the park could open on Memorial Days when it opens.
Yes.
And then have the staff in place. All these hires that you're talking about. So we huddled up, and you and Chief Allen and me, Ms. McLean,
Right.
we went through that and felt like that we could get it done, but it would still take some guidelines, safety precautions, things of that nature. And you've been connected with facilities across the nation.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, can you share a little bit about that?
Sure. Point Mallard has been a member of the World Water Park Association since the World Water Park Association was created. And just a little side note is the World Water Park Association, its first meeting was actually at the airport here close to Decatur, Alabama, because the folks from here were very involved in getting that started. So a lot of people don't realize that. But the World Water Park Association has parks all across the United States, even outside the United States. And they had been dealing with the COVID issue overseas prior to, of course, when it was getting bad here. And so what we were doing is how do you do training? When you train a lifeguard, can we do that safely? How are other people doing it?
How do you distance getting somewhere?
Right. And so what we did is we talked to our partners at Schlitterbahn down in Texas, Wet and Wild. Between World Water Park and the conference calls that they did, IAPA, which is a great organization, and they actually look at things like how's it affecting us economically for these type businesses not to be able to function last year, and what we can do to help start remedying those things. So seeing what that year meant, how we can actually get back to business this year, and if that's our lifeguard classes, we used to do 30 or 40 people in a lifeguard class. Our top now is about 22 people.
Okay.
To keep them separated and do it in a safe way, and they're not doing the holds necessarily on each other all the time now. If there's things that they can't wear a mask, then we use dummies for that. We have dummies to do like submerged rescues. You don't send somebody down now and they get them off the pole. You put a dummy down there, and we clean the dummy after every use, and that has helped make classes to where one of the things with this job when I was a superintendent out at Point Mallard is I have kids also. My kids swim at Point Mallard. I've always, when I was a kid, I was at Point Mallard. I would never take somebody's kid to work out there unless I was going to let my kid do it. And I was, I mentioned that last year, and that was kind of a deciding way that I looked at should we open or not last year. Well, this year I would let my kids work. We have ways we're doing things where we're not going to put kids in bad situations. We're going to have to keep people separate, and I know the mask ordinance is over, kind of goes away April 9th, but we don't know what it will be then. But we do know that whatever it is, we have a comfort level in being able to adhere to those bylaws. And so Disney's been doing it. Disney's done it with. They're running. I think they're running half capacity or third capacity. We would run at this time, if we were opening today, we would open at half capacity. That's 3,000 people.
Okay.
And
we have some things in place to help us know that we have 3,000 guests.
Yes, sir. There's a system called SenSource that we found at IAPA from information we got from partners that were in similar situations that we have been, and that system counts people. It's a camera system that can count people coming in or going out of the park, to where it gives you a real-time number of exactly how many people are in there.
Okay.
So that's going to be a blessing.
Good. Well, so we have daily park activity. So what the park opens at the Aquatic Center is what everybody's really
Right.
ready to get into, come back to after not had been able to. We're still going to celebrate our 50th anniversary, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Yes, that's right.
I need the answer to the question.
We're going to one way or the other.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so you have what happens throughout the day, but y'all host a lot of corporate events.
Tons.
Yeah.
Tons.
Can you share a little bit about that?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. And if you go to our website, if you're interested in doing a corporate party, we have that information on pointmallardpark.com also. If you'll send in a contact form there, we'd have somebody get back to you right away. Right now, we have very few dates available. One of the things that's great is some of our corporate partners have been corporate partners longer than I've been there, and those relationships, they were calling last year, "Are you guys okay? Is there anything we can do to help?" And that's how this community is.
Yeah.
Is that you always have neighbors helping neighbors in Decatur.
Sure.
But we the way those work is generally two different ways. Is one, they'll do them during the hours we're open, and we have pavilions around the park that, especially if it's a smaller party, if you're doing 50 people to maybe 300 people, and you want it catered, you want to be able to swim, but you don't want to pay that fee that you would have to rent the park. We offer those, and a lot of people choose those. We also have an after-hours party, and at those, you rent the park. You can rent both sides of the park. You can rent either side of the park alone. You can go in with another company and rent one part, and they rent the other part, or do it together, which is a great way to build relationships and those kind of things. We've had companies do that. We've also had companies come out and want to do leadership training at these. That has went really good. But we have been very blessed to do. We used to just do Friday and Saturday parties. Now we're doing Friday, Saturday, most Sundays, and some Wednesdays.
So these are summer picnics for North Alabama businesses.
Yes, sir.
For the most part.
Yes, sir.
And we cater. We provide the
do.
food, and then I can see sometimes on social media where Point Mallard neighbors can talk about at 9 o'clock or something like that. They're hearing the fireworks.
Right.
So some companies will have fireworks
They
displays.
will.
it's really a great time of celebration.
It is. These companies, they especially they've been doing them for years, or if they just started doing them, the employees look forward to them. We've created great relationships with so many of these corporate partners, and to have them come every year just don't seem like summer when you don't see them.
Yeah, well, I know it's in your staff's DNA to be just to extend hospitality.
Right.
And to serve, and so we see that. Well, we're going to get to do some other things. I'm going to go ahead. Some of them have already been announced, but last year, of course, we didn't enjoy the Alabama Jubilee. That's something that we always look forward to on Memorial Day weekend, and I see that that's scheduled to, as of now, to go. Is it May 29th? Is that close to it?
It's always that Memorial weekend and that Saturday, and they'll start going up. It's always opening day at the water park and first day of Jubilee.
Okay.
And that we've had conversations with several different members of that organization. They seem like they should have an office out there too. They've been there for so long.
Sure.
Everybody enjoys the balloons. We enjoy the balloons. You can look at us at the water park. We're watching them across the road when they
Well,
go
it's
up.
really neat with the balloons where you can go out on the Jubilee field
Right.
and actually get right up against a balloon.
Right.
It's you can't do that.
And the balloon
motorsports.
people want that too. They're so open with people that come out there, and they want to, because they all love it, and they just want other people to see why they love it, and showing a kid or showing a guy that's 90 years old, they just want to show them what they want, what they do and what they enjoy about it, and people love going up in them. They do the tethered rides and stuff.
Sure.
And it's just fun. Everybody has
They're
fun.
a unique group of people.
They are.
aren't
They really
Yeah,
are.
yeah.
But they're good folks.
Then another thing we couldn't do last year, one of the big fundraisers for Decatur Morgan Foundation or Decatur Morgan Hospital Foundation is the Dragon Boat races.
Right.
And I think they're on the schedule again. Is that?
They are. We've been talking to, of course, Larry Payne and the Hospital Foundation. We've long partnership with them with golf tournaments, and of course this event. Weren't able to have it last year just for obvious reasons, but this year what we're looking at doing is they're going to advertise a date here in the next little bit, and they just want to make sure they can cross the T's and dot the I's with getting everybody on board at the time that everybody can do it, and so. But I think we're at a good place on that, and so they'll be doing that again this year.
Man, it's just amazing at you have almost like a week of practice.
They do.
Yeah.
They start that Monday generally, and they'll practice all the way up until the event. Of course, with Lynn Layton, they went to China
Right.
and rode, over there, which I thought was just really cool.
They're the defending champions.
They are. They are. And I don't take sides because but I root for everybody. I just root for them to stay out of the water. So.
I'm just, I think I went to my first one in 2017 and was amazed at the number of spectators that come out. And all of that back in the day was leading up to Memorial Day. It was, it was kind of a crescendo there that took place. And then I guess we're looking forward to Spirit of America being back when we celebrate our nation's birthday on the 4th of July. And hopefully we'll see some more fireworks, right?
We're going to see some fireworks. We actually have some information we'll be rolling out here in the next little bit about 4th of July as far as what we're planning on doing. And I would tell you, but I'd get in trouble because they told me. But we are very excited to have a great fireworks show. We always say we want to have the best fireworks show in North Alabama, and I know there's some other good ones too, but we're very proud of ours and love it when the people come out and watch.
So, man, you got the city's your playground. I mean, think about it. I know you're responsible for a budget. There's a lot of cost. Boy, if a tree comes, now I'm gonna talk Park and Rec, okay? And folks know that we're excited about Point Mallard and being able to visit with everyone out at the park again this year. But whenever we look at Parks and Rec, we went through some recent storms. Lord's blessed and really protected us. Prayers for those south of us. Whenever our tree goes down, that's your tree crews go out and safely get that off our roads.
We have one of the Park and Rec has, you know, the maintenance staff that is there, which thank you for mentioning that, because one of the best ways to know if they're good or not is to know how much you notice them. And you know, they were good a long time before I got there. So I've been blessed. That's one of the humbling pieces is, you know, those guys. I was talking to their supervisor yesterday, and sometimes I have to say things, and they probably think I'm, you know, but I said we're you know, when it's lightning, we're reminding, right? And they're just so good at that stuff, and especially the safety pieces of it. And the tree crew, when you see a tree come down, and you know, if it could be next to a light pole, it could be, you know, we work with Decatur Utilities, we work with Ricky Terry and his guys, and they also
Ricky's with Straight Environmental,
right, and they do a great job helping with especially when you're getting rid of those items, and they're always great to work with. But Billy Williams is over that tree crew. Ian Miner has been with them. We had one longtime member that retired here a while back that was just excellent. But they take a lot of pride in when keeping things safe and keeping things looking good. And you know, when you have a storm like that, and you know, I remember a couple of storms ago, one of the guys, I called him just to make sure he was you know, doing okay and didn't need anything, and it was before a storm, and I asked him, I said, well, I said, if you need me tonight, you know, well, come to find out, when I talked to him, he was still in the office, and he knew the storm was coming, and he sat there until it was time to go out, and he was ready to go out. So he clocked out, got his supper, came back, and they care about it. They're not just doing it. They care about it, and they care about, you know, these are our families too. We all have families here, and we have people we care about. So.
Sure, man. Yeah, the tree work is very dangerous.
Very dangerous.
And I'm glad for their knowledge and the safety, the way they approach everything. Safety
Yes,
first. We want everybody to go home the same way they came in one good piece.
That's right.
Then I'm going to touch on something that's been tough for us, Jason. It's just one of those things. We rely on our work release folks to help us with a lot of our litter control and collection and such. And of course, with COVID, the state has stopped their ability to come out and help as they have in the past. And so with that, I know our residents expect more. We expect more.
Right.
And we're going to get there.
Right.
So we just ask our residents, if they will, to be patient, and we can see light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes, sir.
Being able to address some of that, and maybe even find some ways to improve the way that we approach litter control in our city. Well, so we talked about this city being a playground for you. All the things that you get to do, what's your favorite?
I'm gonna tell you, I've enjoyed the whole thing, and it's true. I'm a big believer that the Lord puts you where He wants you to be. Now, when I was a little younger, I probably didn't give in to that as much as I am now, but I learned things all the way. You know, when I started here, and some folks remember, you know, if it was Fred Stevens or Cheryl Hall or
Let's go back to Fred. We miss Fred.
I miss Fred.
Yeah. I used to enjoy coffee your first day in your role at Point Mallard, you walked into work, and who was sitting at your desk?
Fred Stevens, sure was. Yeah, Fred, you know, Fred's one of those people in this world you don't ever have to wonder about Fred. He's good people, and anytime I don't know of anybody that would need help that he even knew about that he didn't go out of his way. Jeff, same way.
Sure. Yeah.
And they're kind of, and that's what I wasn't that kid when I was a kid when you know I came here. I was born in Decatur, but I grew up off, and when I came here, I was probably a little, you know, hard-headed and you know, just like a lot of kids probably are, but I was around those people. I was around Fred and Cheryl and Bobby Ward when she was at the campground, and you know, different people through the city, and then, you know, Jeff Dunlap. Why Jeff Dunlap said, I'm going to help this guy right here, and I have no idea. But he was as good and is as good to me as anybody could ever ask for. And I've just been same way with you. Is we really didn't know each other before you were married.
I think we had our first meeting in
right here, sure did. But I mean, I've never had anything that you weren't just as nice, and so I'm very appreciative of what we have.
Well, Jeff taught me to not come in and say what I want done. Come in and say what I hope to get done, and then he would be able to tell me how you would get it done.
Right.
And that's the way that I try to approach you, and I know that the same thing applies. Well, as we look to the future of Parks and Recreation, what do you see?
I'm excited. I mean, we have with the growth that's going on in this community right now, we have so many opportunities. Recreation has changed. Green spaces are a lot more of that's kind of green spaces, and especially in our areas where we have a lot of suburban. You know, the one in Anolam, I think is a good example. It's not, but every time I go by there's people out there sitting in the park, sitting under the, and just having those places where people can go and walk, or people can meet somebody there and have a lunch or whatever that may be. But those green spaces that can be a multi-use space are very important. The less space you have. And that's kind of where we're at now is especially in our downtown areas and those kind of things, is putting those areas in that look good, serve purposes, and are helping the flow of traffic, whatever the case may be. But and as far as buildings, you know, we've had many conversations. Is, you know, we're starting to update facilities now. As we're starting to have those conversations,
sure.
And I'm excited about that, and you know, I'm excited about other people being excited about it, because I can tell. So I think we're headed in a great direction.
Good. Any goals that you have that you'd like to share?
Man, yeah, I'm extreme. I'm a goal oriented person. I got to see the goal line. It's got to be clear. We got to be moving that way. I want to see us, and as you know, we're very lucky to, you know, Tom Chappell over in Hartsville. He worked here, very good friend, still great partner. Sean Daly with the county. One of the things we've been doing is working with them to bring in big events into this area where you may not have somebody that can build 50 fields. And for smaller towns, it usually don't make sense to do that. But if you can get the communities to work together and then bring those in, then they're buying food here. They're using hotel rooms. They're buying bats, and they're buying gloves, or they're buying whatever it is.
And spending money in those communities.
Exactly. And I'm a huge believer in you know, I hear you say it, you know, water makes all ships, you know, rise. And I think that we're in a position right now to where that's where we're doing a better job of that now than what we were, and I'm very proud of that. But like I say, it's not without the other people being willing and there being that trust there, and so we've been very blessed.
Good, good. Jason, thank you so much for your leadership, for what you mean to this city, and for taking your time today to come visit and share some wonderful things about Point Mallard, what we look forward to, some of the other events that will take place in our city, and then of course Parks and Recreation. Certainly appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
And we want to thank you for joining us today. Remember that you can sign up for our newsletter by texting Decatur to 42828. That's Decatur to 42828. And our next edition comes out Friday, April the 2nd. And then our next municipal update will be next Friday at 3 p.m. We hope to see you then. Thank you.